everyone! So today I am bringing you 10 authors that I discovered in 2015. These are authors that I read for the first time in 2015 and that I want to pursue reading more works of them. I'm not including authors that I read and I don't want to pursue more works of theirs, so yes. The first one is Angel by Elizabeth Taylor. I was encouraged to read this by Ange over at Beyond the Pages. I read this in the end of last year and I really enjoyed this. I did just cover this in my December review, so I won't go too much into detail about the plot, but I found Elizabeth Taylor's writing very engaging and very easy to get into, so I'm looking forward to reading more of her. Next up is Maria Edgeworth, which I also discussed in my December review, so I'm not going to go too much into the plot as well. I do have another one of her books on the way to me. I really enjoyed her style. I really like finding more and more 18th century female authors. I feel like that is like my kryptonite when it comes to books. If you're an 18th century female author, I will probably get around to reading you eventually and I will probably love your works. So yes, this is right up my alley. Next up is Emile Zola. I read Therese Raquin last year. I absolutely love this. I've talked about this lots on this channel, so it's not really a surprise to anyone. I do have The Fortune of the Rogan sitting on my shelf that I want to read next, and I just really enjoy Emile Zola's style. So if you haven't checked out Zola and you like unlikable characters, I would highly recommend him. Another French author, and that is Henri de Balzac, and I read Old Gouret around the same time that I read Therese Raquin. Balzac was a huge influence on Zola's writing, and I'm really looking forward to reading more French authors this year. I kind of tend to get stuck in British literature a lot, mostly because I find British literature is a lot more accessible, due to, obviously, translation reasons. But I really want to pursue more French and Russian authors, so I'm going to be pursuing more Balzac in this year. Now, I discovered Daphne du Maurier this year, and I read two of her works. I'm showing Rebecca because it's the one that I actually like. I also read Frenchman's Creek, which I didn't really like. Daphne du Maurier is an interesting author. I do want to read more. I do have Jamaican Inn still on my shelf to read, and I do want to read more of her works, but I'm kind of tentative about that because there are some plagiarism issues with her, so I'm kind of a bit iffy on that, but I did enjoy Rebecca enough that I do want to carry on reading some more of her works. So if you like kind of gothic, if you like kind of more melodrama, I would definitely recommend checking these out. It's not my favorite genre, but every so often I really enjoy that. An author I absolutely adored is Ray Russell, and I have The Case Against Satan here, but I also have, and I can reach behind me and grab it, so I will do that, his collection of short stories in the Penguin Horror Edition, and that is Haunted Castles. So I read both of these last year and I absolutely love them. He's more of a horror writer. His three best known stories are Sanguinarius, Sagittarius, and Sardonicus, and I really enjoyed this kind of pulpy horror. I would say The Case Against Satan is probably my favorite, but I did really enjoy his short fiction. I don't know if there's too much more that I haven't read by him, but I did really enjoy him, so I wanted to include him in this video. Next up is one that I'm definitely pursuing more of, and that is Frances Burney. I read Evelina last year and I absolutely loved it. I have ordered her two other works that are easily accessible, which is Camilla and Cecilia, and I have talked with Ange about reading them because we both absolutely adored Evelina. This is the one that if people ask me for booktube recommendations, I shoved at people. I was like, read it, it's so good. Actually laugh out loud funny, absolutely hilarious. She was a precursor to Jane Austen, so if you like Jane Austen, definitely check her out. You can see where Jane Austen definitely got influenced in some of the more satirical aspects, so I would highly recommend Evelina. It is a little bit hard to get into at first because it is an epistolary novel, but push through those first 20 pages and then it's absolutely fantastic. And my pile of books beside me just fell. Next up is Nathaniel Hawthorne. I read the work he is best known for, which is The Scarlet Letter. I have sitting on my shelf now The Marble Fawn, which I'm really looking forward to reading. It sounds very similar to The Secret History by Donna Tartt, which I absolutely adored, so I'm really looking forward to getting into that once I get a chance. I I found his writing interesting. He's definitely, I mean, this one dealt a lot with Puritans and puritanical ideas. So it wasn't something I was super familiar with because I'm not an American historian, but I did really enjoy it, so I am looking forward to pursuing more of his books. Next up is Nancy Mitford, and I read The Pursuit of Love by her, and I have on my shelf waiting to read Love in a Cold Climate. These are kind of pithy little novels around the Second World War, and they're really interesting. They deal with upper class British society, so if you're a fan of Downton Abbey, I would say that these are for you. Yeah, they kind of deal with the same kind of issues that the Crawley family in Downton Abbey, which sadly is over now, break my little heart, deal with, so I would definitely recommend those if you like that kind of drama. And finally, Virginia Woolf. I read Mrs. Dalloway this year and I absolutely loved it. I also read To the Lighthouse. I'm looking forward to pursuing more of her works. She's just one of those authors that you kind of have to read if you read the classics. She's up there on the pillars that if you haven't read Virginia Woolf, you cannot consider yourself well read. I definitely enjoyed Virginia Woolf and I look forward to reading more of hers. And I know Claire from Reading Bukowski, this is one of her favorite authors and she's writing her dissertation on it. So if you want to check out more videos, more in-depth about Virginia Woolf, definitely check out Claire's channel. So those are 10 authors that I discovered in 2015, and I will see you guys later. Bye!